Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're doing a bike check of my Pivot Mach 5.5 enduro bike. Yeah, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by any of the brands you can see here, but I do work for the Swiss distributor of Pivot Cycles, HD Components, Wolftooth Components, 77 Designs and the Effetto Mariposa. So yeah, some of the parts are obviously from those brands. I work for them, but only in a vague way. I don't work directly for them, I don't do the sales for them or anything like that, but just so you know, I do work for those companies. So let's get it started. I got the Mach 5.5 anniversary edition, and I was in the lucky situation, due to working at the distributor, to be able to build it up custom. I started off with a SRAM XO Eagle drivetrain, which was upgraded from a Shimano 11-speed drivetrain. Full cockpit change and all of that. Pretty much the only things I kept were the wheels, the fork and the crank, and even the cranks changed. Let's start with the wheels. They are Reynolds especially built wheels for the Pivot Mach 5.5 anniversary edition. They're specially labeled, like here with anniversary edition. They have the Pivot logos on there. They have custom lasered Industry 9 straight pull hubs with the anniversary edition logo and all of that in there. So they're really nice wheels. They're really light, and they're a 36mm rim with internal, so they're nice and wide. On there I have Onza Aquila tires, which I'm only testing out about now. Haven't ridden them much, but I'll give you feedback once I know more. But they feel real nice. The casing feels nice and supportive, and yeah. In there I'm running Effetto Mariposa's Cafe Latex tubeless sealant with tire invader tire inserts from them. I still have prototype inserts in there, so they're a bit thicker and a bit heavier than the retail ones, but they already are light. They're 110 grams, the ones I have in there per insert, which is fairly light. But the retail version is, I think, around or even below 90 grams for the widest one they offer, which I have in here due to the wide rim and the wide tire on there. Let's go over to suspension. I have the Fox 36 2018 model with the Evol air chamber with a MRP RAM control cartridge installed in there to give me some way to control the bottom out speed sensitively, which I really like. And also the orange anodized adjuster really works well with the color scheme I went for with my V2 version. V1 was mostly blue and silver, which was also nice. But the rest is pretty much all standard. I have slick graphics, stickers on there to give them the OEM style look, as the standard blue ones just didn't really work with the rest of the orange part, so I changed those out. But I still have the 3-position adjuster cartridge in there, the Fit 4 cartridge. I might go to a Grip 2 in the future, but yeah, time will tell. For the rear I have an MRP hazard coil shock, which normally isn't allowed even in this bike, but with the progressive spring I can't say it is allowed, but I can say it works. It has a progressive spring, so the coil is actually wound progressively, so you can see it actually get tighter to one end. So yeah, you have actually a ramping spring rate as you'd have with an air shock. So it actually works really well and feels more progressive than the Fox Float X2 I had in here previously, which was also filled with the maximum amount of volume spacers. For the seat post I run a Fox Transfer Kashima 150mm with a Wolftooth remote lever on there, which is really nice. I mean, all the reviews about it say basically it's a perfect rubber post lever, so why not go for it if we already have it in our inventory. Yeah, also the post is held in place with a QR C-post clamp from chroma, which I really like. I like the QR, as you can see, I have quite a bit of room to move it downward. 150 is enough for the trails, but if I go to bike parks with this thing, I really like that about 7 centimeters more drop I can get out of it. So it's more drop than you'd have with a 200mm dropper, but with a longer dropper I wouldn't be able to push it down as far, so I get the most room I could have, which is perfect. On there I have a fabric demo saddle, which is just a test saddle, that's why it's gray. And yeah, I might change that for a retail version later down the road if it fits me, which I've just started testing on this bike. So yeah, then let's go along to the cockpit. I'm running a full Chromac BZA cockpit with their carbon bars and their stem. The stem is 35mm long, so as short as you can go, and the bar isn't cut down, so it's a stock 800mm wide with 1.5 centimeters of rise. Then on there are the Chromac, I believe they're called the clutch grips, which are quite wide and slim, which I really like the combo of. I really like to have that room to hold wide outwards, but kind of be able to position my hand a bit sometimes. And I really like the slim grips. I just get way less arm pump with slimmer grips. My brakes I run fairly flat, but not too flat. I don't ride too much steeps, but it really helps with the arm pump. I don't go quite as flat as Johan Barelli, probably because I don't have 3 balls, but yeah. Then for the shifter I have the Shimano normal XTR shifter for the M9100 drivetrain, and the shifter lever as well as the dropper post lever I have mounted outwards of the brake clamp, as the TRP levers are fairly long and the lever blades are fairly long, so the shift levers and the drop post lever would be too far inward, so they're sticking quite far into the grip, but I'm holding quite far outwards on the grip, so it works really well. So yeah, as we're already talking about the shifter, let's go to the drivetrain. If you've seen my last video, I'm running a full XTR M9100 drivetrain, well, full, just the rear part. So I'm running shifter, cassette, derailleur and chain, which counts for me as a full drivetrain, as the chainring and the crank doesn't really aid in shifting performance on a one-by system. So yeah, that's what I run. I upgraded it from XO Eagle, and I have to say it really shifts nicer, and especially under load, which you hear in basically all the reviews about this drivetrain. It's just so superb. I mean, I couldn't go back. I really couldn't. And yeah, the Industry 9 hubs made it possible to already switch to XTR, as they already have a microspline drive body available, so that's nice. So yeah, let's go to the cranks and the chainring and all that setup down there. I'm running Raceface Next R cranks, which were a replacement for my Next SL cranks after I broke them. Yeah, they're just not really up to the task for my riding, or I just had a faulty set, I don't know. Yeah, I ride my bikes hard, so stuff can break, but I'm actually quite lucky with how much stuff I have broken, and or let's say I haven't broken yet. So yeah, but those cranks were replaced. Next are a bit more robust, which I actually prefer over the Next SL. That bit weight penalty I don't care about. On there I have the HT AE05 flat pedals. They're quite concave, so they give you really good grip. And yeah, a little bit of a downside of the HT pedals. They need quite regular servicing, so you need to re-grease them. But if you do, they really hold up to quite a bit of abuse, and they're really light for what they're made of. I mean, these are aluminum and chromoly pedals, and they're pretty light for what they are. Then the chainring on the crank is a wolf tooth narrow wide chainring, boost chainring, made specifically for Shimano 12 speed, as the chain lock on the Shimano chains, the 12 speed chains, is a bit narrower than any other chain on the market, so normal chain rings don't work with chain locks. for their 12-speed chains, so you have to get a special chainring. But Wolftooth, they already offer those chainrings, so you can just swap out the chainring for your most common crank types, and you can run Shimano 12-speed without having to buy a Shimano crank. Then keeping the chain on there a bit more securely, you don't really need it with those chain rings, but it's just a bit of peace of mind. I have a 77 Designs chain guide on there with a bash guard under there, which is a really low profile, which I really like. It's saved my chain ring a couple of times, and yeah, I mean, it's really light, low profile, so it doesn't really rob you on your ground clearance, so I don't mind having it on there. It's just very nice little part. Let's carry on with the brakes. The brakes are TRP Quad MG spec brakes, so the top of the line model that Aaron Gwynn runs. They don't have too harsh of a bite point, they have quite a soft bite point, but they really are quite solid after that, so they don't really flex a lot. You can't really pull the lever to the bar. Even though my bite point is really close to the bar, I can't pull it to the bar. Even if I wanted to, it doesn't work. Which is really nice, because I like to run my brake levers fairly close to the bar, so I can really grip nicely around the whole thing. I have front 203mm rotor, rear 180mm rotor. I really brake a lot more in the front than in the rear, so I don't need a bigger rotor in the rear. I run the TRP semi-metallic red brake pads, which really work well. They don't squeal. They work in pretty much all conditions. Even in the wet, they have fairly good braking performance, and I mean, they just look cool by being red. Then just a little bit of bling I have on my bike. I have a Wolftooth headset, not a complete yet. The lower one is still not in stock, but I'll get that one in orange too, just as a little accent down there. But I have headset and the axles front and rear with orange bits. Front axle is fully orange, the rear just has an orange end cap on the brake side, which just looks really nice, and it just completes the whole build. I also have a IFHD Mahalo My Dudes top cap, which is really fancy, and also have their I'm faster than you mud guard, just repping the boys, Mahalo My Dudes. Yeah, as you can see, I also have their socks on. So yeah, that's pretty much all about my bike. I ride it mostly on enduro-like trails, which you would see on enduro races, but more like the bit more chill trails. I often ride in the Swiss Alps, which are really nice. We have a lot of nice bike parks also all around, so I go to those all with that bike. I don't have a downhill bike. The only other two bikes that I have is my dirt jump bike and my road/commuter bike, so that's my only real mountain bike for into the woods. So yeah, I go to bike parks, I go to pretty much everything. I've been to a Hockfest, so Fest Series event in Norway with that thing, and it holds up. It really does. It's a really solid bike. It's really fun to ride, and yeah, it's just a fun bike to throw around. I'd like to have a longer travel bike in the future, maybe with 29er wheels, as this is a 27.5 bike. But stay tuned, there might be coming something very special in the near future. But yeah, we will see. If you have any questions about my bike or are interested in a bike check on my other two bikes, leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you want more content like this. I'll try to make some more regular content, but at the moment it's quite hard with school and work and all of that. But yeah, things change, I get more time, and I might be able to do some more things. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye guys!